Jessica returned to the dating scene, nervous and excited all at once. She was in her early 30s and had been single for nearly 2 years after a tough breakup. This time apart allowed her to reflect on what she really wanted. After much thought, Jessica felt ready to open her heart again. What motivated her most was the desire for companionship and someone to share laughter with. She missed the little moments, sharing coffee in the morning, long walks, and laughing at silly inside jokes. Yet, as soon as she thought about dating, a wave of doubt washed over her. The dating world had changed so much since she last experienced it. Between social media and dating apps, Jessica felt overwhelmed. She worried, would anyone understand her? Was she too picky or too emotional? Last time, things had ended badly because her ex had been controlling and quick to anger. That heartbreak left her feeling hesitant, but she decided it wouldn't control her anymore. As she stepped into the modern dating world, Jessica cautiously navigated dating apps like Bumble and Hinge. She spent hours creating a profile, choosing photos, and carefully selecting her bio to reflect her fun-loving spirit. However, she approached these apps with care, remembering that they were tools, not the end goal. Jessica wanted to meet someone special in person, not just chat on a screen. She couldn't help but be aware of societal pressures, but she chose to move at her own pace. Trusting herself, she even broke some traditional norms by asking someone out first. Instead of waiting for the perfect match, she reminded herself that dating was about exploration and learning. She was ready to embrace whatever love might bring into her life, her heart open and hopeful for the journey ahead. As Jessica dived deeper into the world of dating, she began to feel a heavy weight on her heart. At first, it was exciting. Each ping of her phone felt like a new chance, a new person who could provide the joy she craved. But soon, this constant cycle of dates began to wear her down. She found herself swiping left and right for hours, each encounter leaving her feeling both hopeful and empty. After many dates, Jessica noticed a pattern. On some days, she connected with someone and felt sparks. They would chat, share laughter, and even make future plans. But other times, she faced confusion. The other person would seem interested one moment, but then vanish the next. Frustration built as she contemplated why they were not reaching out again. Each time someone failed to call after a great date, it stung. Honest conversations turned into missed messages, leaving her with mixed signals that darkened her mood. Am I doing something wrong? Jessica wondered as she sank into her couch one evening, her phone silent in her hand. Why is it always me who feels left out? Self-doubt crept in like a shadow, whispering discouragement. She couldn't shake the feeling that perhaps she was not enough, that maybe dating was a battle she was destined to lose. These thoughts weighed heavily on her, burying the excitement she once had. The spark of hope began to dim slightly, like the fading light of a setting sun. One night, ruminating over her experiences, Jessica sought advice from her closest friend, Maya, who had seen her through both the ups and the downs. Over hot tea, Jessica shared her struggles. It's tough, Maya. I thought dating would be fun, but it feels like a job sometimes. I feel exhausted by all this searching. Maya listened carefully, nodding with understanding. Jessica, dating is hard these days. Online can be easier, but it can also feel very lonely, she replied gently. Just remember, it's not your fault. Don't lose faith in yourself. Yet, even as Maya's comforting words swirled in her mind, Jessica felt the pressure of societal expectations bearing down on her. It seemed everyone around her was in happy relationships, posting pictures of roadside adventures or cozy dinner dates. Maybe there's something I'm missing, she thought, scrolling Instagram. Those perfect images added to her insecurity, making her question how everyone else found love with ease. Did they have some secret that she didn't know? Trying to lift her spirits, Jessica took a step back from the apps one weekend. She spent time alone in nature, enjoying the peace of the park. The trees swayed gently, and each bird chirp reminded her to breathe. During this quiet time, she reflected on who she was away from dating, thinking deeply about her passions and what made her happy. This moment brought clarity. There was more to life than just trying to find a partner. Nevertheless, the urge to seek love tugged at her. Returning to dating apps felt inevitable, even as she mentally prepared for another round of adventures and setbacks. Although the journey was challenging, Jessica began to understand that setbacks were not failures. They were lessons that shaped her into a stronger person. She resolved not to let fatigue defeat her spirit. No matter how difficult the path seemed, she sensed that growth was on the horizon. As long as she stayed true to herself, she could navigate this maze of modern love with hope still shining in her heart. One evening, Jessica found herself swiping through her dating app, feeling a mix of hope and hesitation. Suddenly, she came across a profile that caught her eye. His name was Alex, and their interests aligned perfectly. They both loved hiking, cooking, and cozy movie nights. His smile was warm, and the way he described himself made her feel excited. After exchanging texts, they quickly arranged to meet at a local cafe. Jessica felt a new spark of hope igniting within her. The date went wonderfully. Alex was charming and thoughtful, making her laugh with his witty jokes. They talked easily, discussing everything from their favorite movies to travel dreams. Jessica felt what seemed like a connection she had long yearned for. As the date ended, Alex leaned in for a hug, and for a moment, everything felt just right. Maybe this is it, she thought, her heart fluttering with anticipation. However, as their weekend dates continued, something began to dim the bright light of her excitement. Their conversation started to wade into deeper waters. Jessica, being freshly hopeful, found herself talking about her dreams of a future with a loving partner, perhaps even settling down and starting a family someday. Alex listened at first but soon shifted the conversation to more casual topics. Jessica noticed the difference in their views. He often emphasized that he wanted to keep things light, without the pressure of commitment. Jessica began to feel a conflict stirring inside her. She had been so eager to find love, yet was it really the right kind of love? On one hand, there was the thrill of the spark she felt with Alex. On the other hand, she knew her heart desired something deeper, someone who shared her wishes for the future. During a quiet moment after another enjoyable date, Jessica turned to Alex, feeling a rush of courage. "Can I ask you something important?" she began. "Of course," he replied, a curious smile on his face. "What do you see in your future when it comes to relationships?" Jessica's voice was steady though her heart raced. Alex shrugged with a hint of uncertainty. "I'm just focused on enjoying life right now. Relationships can feel heavy, so I prefer to keep things fun. You know, no strings attached." Jessica felt a twinge of disappointment but pressed on, hoping for more clarity. "I understand that, but I want something that feels stable and secure. I think there's a beauty in commitment and building a future together." As they talked, Jessica felt the weight of their differing desires settle heavily in the space between them. While Alex's carefree nature was appealing, Jessica began to question whether it fit with what she truly sought. She had come a long way, gaining a sense of confidence through her experiences, but here was a moment where clarity was hazy. After parting ways that night, Jessica took time to reflect. She leaned against her bedroom window, gazing at the stars, allowing herself to feel the confusion swirl around her. "What do I really need?" she sighed softly. The truth became clearer. She was realizing that feelings matter, but so do compatibility and shared goals. These small wins through dating had helped her gain confidence and insight into her own desires. She recognized that each encounter taught her something valuable. Though Alex sparked joy, she couldn't ignore the disconnect they faced. With her heart open but grounded, Jessica understood that love meant not just finding a partner, but finding the right partner. The journey wasn't easy, but she started to see difficulties as opportunities to refine her understanding of love, both what it was and what it should be. Knowing this new knowledge would guide her, she felt a new wave of strength. Even in the face of uncertainty, her heart remained hopeful, ready to meet whoever was destined to be part of her story next. As the weeks passed, Jessica found herself in a confusing whirlpool of emotions. She continued dating Alex, but as their relationship progressed, the cracks in their compatibility began to widen. While their fun moments together were lovely, her heart was burdened by the thoughts brewing in her mind, thoughts of what was missing. One evening, after a weekend filled with laughter and good times, their conversation drifted back to the topic of commitment. Jessica felt a knot forming in her stomach. "Jessica, let's not put a label on everything," Alex said, casually tapping his fingers on the table. "I enjoy what we have now. Isn't it better to just go with the flow?" His casual attitude made her feel uneasy. She smiled, but inside, she was wrestling with conflicting feelings. Something shifted within her, a tightrope balancing act between her desires and his carefree nature. At that moment, something inside her snapped. She felt a wave of frustration surge as she thought about what she had been compromising for the sake of keeping things easy. Was this how she wanted to live her life? Taking a deep breath, Jessica mustered the courage to speak up. "I understand where you're coming from, going with the flow sounds nice," she said carefully, still holding on to her composure, "but I really want to build something meaningful. I wish we could talk more seriously about our future." Alex's expression shifted to one of confusion. "Can't we just enjoy what we have? Future talk feels so serious." Jessica's heart raced as she felt the weight of that statement. A reality struck her hard. How had she let herself drift into a space where she felt dissatisfied? Compromising her own values and ignoring her needs was not the kind of love she had been searching for. Tears brimmed in her eyes, and she swallowed hard, feeling vulnerable yet determined. As she sat across from Alex, she realized that she wanted a partnership based on mutual respect and shared goals, not an endless cycle of fun without direction. "I don't want to rush things," she said, trying to keep her voice steady. "But I have to stand firm in what I need from a relationship. I understand that you prefer light-hearted connections, but I need something more grounded." A silence filled the air, thick with unspoken words. Alex shifted uncomfortably in his chair. Jessica felt a pressure building inside her. She was facing a monumental decision. Would she choose to continue compromising just to keep him close, or would she stay true to herself, even if it meant letting go? In the quiet of her thoughts, Jessica acknowledged what she truly wanted. She longed for a love filled with trust, hope, and shared dreams. Her core beliefs and values, once buried, now loomed at the surface. Her heart fluttered at the thought of finding that kind of love, but the fear of loneliness lingered. With each heartbeat, she realized that she deserved love that aligned with her dreams. Rather than feeling rushed or anxious, she felt empowered. The journey through heartbreak had deepened her understanding of herself and clarified her values. "I think I need to reassess what we are doing here, Alex," she said softly but firmly. "It's important for me to live in truth and not settle for less." Jessica knew this moment might shift everything in her dating life, but she felt stronger than she had in months. She was ready to set boundaries and advocate for her heart. No matter the outcome, she knew she had to honor her own needs, no matter how difficult or painful that choice might be. This pivotal moment marked a transformation she had been longing for, creating the space for her to claim the love she truly deserved. Determined to find clarity, Jessica chose a place where she felt at ease, a quiet park filled with blooming flowers and gentle breezes. Sitting on a bench, she took a moment to collect her thoughts. The beauty around her was soothing, but inside her, a storm brewed. She knew she needed to confront Alex about their differences. Ignoring it any longer would only sink her deeper into the tension. When he arrived, Alex greeted her with his familiar smile, but Jessica noticed the flicker of concern in his eyes. Perhaps he sensed that something was off. "Hi, Jessica. It's a beautiful day, huh?" he said, trying to lighten the mood. "Yes, it is," she replied softly. "But I need to talk to you about something important." She felt her heart race, yet she reminded herself why she needed this conversation. It was time to voice her feelings, no more holding back. As they settled onto the bench, Jessica took a deep breath. "Alex, I value our time together, but I've been feeling uneasy about our relationship," she said, trying to sound calm. "I want to discuss where we are heading and what we both want from this." Alex shifted in his seat, his expression changing to one of uncertainty. "Okay. I feel like we're having fun, so what's the issue? I know we've had a blast, and I truly appreciate the moments we've shared, but my feelings are evolving. I am beginning to crave a deeper connection. I believe a relationship needs to be grounded in mutual goals, and it seems like we want different things," she explained gently but firmly. There was a pause as Alex processed her words. "I'm not really into all that serious stuff right now, Jess. I just want to enjoy life without pressure," he said, his voice slightly rising. Jessica sensed the tension building, and her heart sank. She wasn't trying to cause conflict, she just wanted honesty. With a gentle tone, she replied, "I understand that, but I'm at a different place in my life. I think we need to be honest with ourselves and each other. It's okay if you don't want commitment, I just need to know if you see a future together." Alex's face turned contemplative, but his words were edged with frustration. "You're pushing me into a corner. Isn't it enough that we are having a good time? Why does everything need to be so serious?" Jessica felt the heat rise inside her, but she took a calming breath. She didn't want anger to cloud this moment. "I'm not trying to pressure you, Alex. But for me, being true to myself means knowing what I want in a partner. If we are not aligned, then maybe it's better to part as friends now rather than drag this on." Silence enveloped them as both struggled to absorb the weight of the conversation. Jessica's heart felt heavy, this was the moment of truth. She could see realization flickering in Alex's eyes, perhaps he too sensed the crossroads they faced. Would they find understanding, or would this spark conflict that could separate them? In that intimate moment, both realized they had different values and found themselves at a breaking point. The risk of speaking openly was significant, the risk of losing each other entirely loomed large. Yet, there was a glimmer of potential reward in their honesty, a chance for growth, understanding, or even liberation. As they sat under the vast sky, Jessica knew that this conversation needed to happen. Truth, no matter how painful or uncomfortable, was essential for both of their journeys. She could feel herself standing strong in her needs, unafraid to let go if it meant embracing a true connection in the long run. In the midst of uncertainty, a profound insight washed over her. She was ready to choose herself first, whatever the outcome of this talk might be. As the conversation continued, Jessica felt the weight of her decision pressing heavily upon her. She had always feared confrontation and had stayed in situations longer than she should have, afraid of the unknown. But this time, things felt different. With an intensity she hadn't recognized before, she scanned Alex's face and saw uncertainty paired with frustration. The atmosphere was thick with tension, the gravity of their words grounding both of them. "Jessica, I like you," he said carefully, searching for the right words. "But commitment isn't what I'm looking for right now. I don't want to lose what we have, but I also can't change how I feel." Jessica's heart sank. She admired his honesty, but deep down, she knew she couldn't compromise her own needs. "I appreciate that you're honest, Alex," she replied gently. "But I can't keep pretending that what we have feels right to me. I need something deeper, and if you're not open to that, then maybe we're just not meant to be." As she spoke, Jessica felt a wave of strength surging through her. She had spent so long questioning her worth and desires, and now clarity had settled in. She realized that continuing a relationship without mutual goals would only lead to heartache for them both. Closing her eyes momentarily, she pictured a future filled with supportive love, laughter, and shared dreams. "I deserve that kind of relationship," she reminded herself. The stakes were higher now. If she chose to stay, it would mean trailing behind someone else's vision of love, potentially losing herself once more in the process. "I don't want to keep struggling, always hoping that things will change." Jessica's voice shook slightly as she continued, fighting the tears that threatened to spill. "If we can't share the same values, then it's unfair to either of us to continue. I want to feel connected, not uncertain." Alex said nothing at first, the silence hanging between them like a curtain. Jessica found herself breathing deeply, feeling both frightful and free. As tough as this moment was, she understood that walking away could lead her toward healthier dating experiences and, ultimately, a greater understanding of herself. After what felt like an eternity, Alex spoke again, his tone softer. "I didn't know you felt this way. I wish I could give you what you want." He ran a hand through his hair, looking pained. "But maybe you're right. If we're looking for different things, then it might be better for us to part." A rush of emotions washed over Jessica. Part of her felt a strange sadness, and another part felt free, as if she had just dropped a heavy burden. "This doesn't mean I regret the time we spent together," she acknowledged, her tone sympathetic. "You brought joy into my life, and I'll always appreciate that." They ambos fell into a silent understanding. It was heartbreaking to walk away, but Jessica realized that ultimately, she was choosing herself. This disrupted her previous patterns of clinging to relationships, embracing fear over love. Taking a deep breath, Jessica stood up, glancing at Alex one final time. In that moment, she chose to embrace the promise of possibilities that lay ahead. It was no longer about simply dating, it was about creating a life that felt true and fulfilling. She wanted not just any relationship, but one that complemented her journey. With newfound clarity, Jessica walked toward her future, heart open to the lessons that lay ahead. This transformative decision marked a turning point. She had not only taken a stand for her needs but was now ready to approach dating with confidence, valuing mutual respect and understanding above all. And despite the pain of saying goodbye, she felt hope growing within her soul, ready to embrace whatever might come next. After saying goodbye to Alex, Jessica walked back through the park, her heart swaying between sadness and a sense of relief. The sun was beginning to set, painting the sky with soft shades of orange and pink. As she took in this beauty, she felt a wave of emotions wash over her: fear, gratitude, and something new, empowerment. Sitting on a nearby bench, she let herself breathe. A lot had changed over the past few months. For so long, Jessica had tried to fit herself into relationships that didn't honor her true desires. But now, after taking such a big step, she began to see the journey for what it truly was, a process of discovery, rather than a mere search for love. The ache in her heart now felt lighter, more like a healing wound rather than a fresh cut. Reflecting back, she realized that dating wasn't just about finding someone to share moments with. It was about understanding herself, a quest to uncover her values, needs, and dreams. She had learned that it was okay to set boundaries, to voice her thoughts and feelings plainly, and that every experience was a piece of the bigger puzzle of life. Even the difficult conversations and heartbreaks brought valuable lessons. Her past with Alex, while it hadn't turned out as she had hoped, had nudged her toward digital growth. He had been an important chapter, teaching her that not every attractive connection needed to morph into a long-lasting relationship. She didn't have to settle for anything less than what she truly wanted. Instead of feeling ashamed for wanting something deeper, she now saw that desire as a strength. Jessica took out her phone and viewed her journal app, where she kept track of her thoughts. If only she had started this earlier. Writing became a form of therapy for her, a method to process the roller coaster of emotions she had experienced. As she typed about the lessons learned, she noted how important it was for her to seek a partner who aligned with her future goals. In her reflections, she pondered the shifts she had made throughout her dating experiences. Once, she had saved others' feelings above her own, often changing her opinion to fit what the other person preferred. But embracing her needs felt freeing. She was beginning to realize that losing Alex didn't mean failing at love. Instead, it was simply a shift, a step toward a wiser version of herself. It opened the possibility of future relationships where she could embrace those who would meet her halfway. Her standards had changed, and that felt important. Instead of confusion about whether to settle or stand firm, Jessica felt a budding confidence and hope. There was power in her decisions, and now, she looked toward future adventures in love with a new lens. She understood better that love should lift both partners rather than cause one to shrink or hide. As she sat on that park bench, letting the cool evening air fill her lungs, Jessica smiled. The dating journey ahead might be uncertain, but now, she welcomed it. With each interaction she entered, she would be reminded of her own worth. Eyes opened and heart unguarded, Jessica felt ready for the next chapter, knowing that real love awaited her, one that resonated not just with her heart, but with her whole being. In the days following her decision to part ways with Alex, Jessica felt a range of emotions. While some moments brought sadness, most were filled with clarity. She knew she needed time to reclaim her sense of self after the whirlwind of her dating experiences. It felt like an opportunity to rediscover who she was outside of a relationship. A few days turned into a week, and in that time, Jessica embraced the chance to focus on herself. Instead of jumping into another dating app or searching for new matches, she decided to take a break from dating altogether. This was a foreign concept for her, but a welcome idea. She needed to reflect deepest without distraction, and she wanted to nurture her soul again. During this time, Jessica picked up activities that brought her joy. She dusted off her old sketchbook from college and found herself drawing once more. The strokes of her pencil on paper felt like a therapeutic release, allowing her emotions to flow freely. When she painted sunsets and peaceful landscapes, she felt connected to her creative side, a part of herself she had neglected in the midst of her dating pursuits. Jessica also began practicing gratitude every morning. Each day, she wrote down 3 things she felt thankful for. Sometimes these were big moments, like a close friend or a beautiful day. Other times, they were simple, like the comforting taste of her morning coffee. With every reflection, Jessica felt a warmth spread within. She was nurturing her heart, learning to love herself more deeply. During her solo journey, she also took time to connect with friends again, people she had pushed aside while focused on building her romantic relationship. She reveled in getting together with friends for game nights or cozy dinners filled with laughter. These moments reminded her how important genuine relationships were, ones built on trust and shared experiences. As weeks passed, she experienced a change in her outlook. The self-doubt that had found a home in her mind slowly faded, replaced with something stronger, self-worth. Jessica came to understand that being single didn't define her. She was more than someone looking for love, she was a whole person with dreams, passions, and a unique story to tell. After a refreshing break from dating, Jessica felt eager for new experiences. When she finally felt ready, rather than going back to familiar dating apps, she envisioned a new approach. This time, she resolved to meet people in her community, through classes or social gatherings, where connections could grow more organically. With a clearer sense of what she wanted, Jessica wrote down her values and what she hoped to find in a partner this time around. She wanted someone who shared her dreams, respected her boundaries, and believed in building a future together. Creating this list felt powerful. It symbolized a transformation. In sharing these thoughts with her friends, they encouraged her decision to pursue healthier connections. Her friends expressed how proud they were of her journey. Understanding her needs took courage, and each small step toward that goal was celebrated. With newfound confidence, Jessica felt empowered to dive back into the world of dating. But this time, she would do so with intention and self-respect. Whenever doubt tried to creep back in, she reminded herself of the lessons learned, the importance of open conversations, honoring one's needs, and defining what true partnership meant. As she ventured forward into this uncharted territory, she carried with her the essence of her journey. She was ready for whatever love awaited her in the future, now fortified with a loving sense of self and eager to embrace all that life had to offer. As Jessica stepped back into the dating world, she felt a sense of purpose coursing through her. The time she had taken for herself had transformed her in profound ways. No longer did she see dating as a series of challenges to navigate, but as an opportunity to connect authentically with others while honoring herself. With a foundation of self-awareness, she moved forward with more confidence than ever. Her first approach was to set clear boundaries, a lesson she learned from her past experiences. Knowing what she wanted allowed her to communicate her needs early on, and she was determined not to waver. When chatting with new matches, Jessica preferred to discuss important topics right from the start, such as their views on relationships and goals for the future. It felt freeing, knowing she could be straightforward in this new phase of her life. The first person she went out with after her self-imposed dating break was different from anyone she had met before. His name was Mark, and from their very first conversation over coffee, there was a comfortable simplicity that flowed between them. Jessica appreciated that he encouraged her to express her feelings and thoughts without the fear of judgment. He was open and respectful, instantly proving that she had made the right choice regarding whom to spend her time with. Thanks to her newfound perspective, Jessica was no longer chasing after just anyone who seemed interested. Instead, she focused on building friendships first, nurturing a deeper connection. She began to prioritize her emotional well-being and the kind of love she sought, one filled with mutual support and shared dreams rather than fleeting thrills. During her time with Mark, they often went on hikes, laughing and talking for hours about their goals and aspirations. With each outing, Jessica felt the heaviness of past disappointments dissolve. Mark fit into her life seamlessly, but she was also keenly aware of maintaining her independence. She recognized how vital it was to continue nurturing her own passions despite the joy of intimacy. A key part of their relationship was communication, which had once felt like a daunting task for her. Now, Jessica greeted difficult conversations with a sense of calm. When Mark shared fears about his own relationship history or hesitation in fully committing, Jess responded with compassion. She understood that everyone had battles to fight and that navigating them together could strengthen their bond. As their connection deepened, Jessica remained anchored in her desire for healthy boundaries. She was unapologetic about her values, embraced the journey of self-discovery, and respected her own pace. This approach gave her the space to enjoy the blossoming relationship instead of rushing toward labels or future plans. Each day with Mark came with lessons of its own, but they were filled with hope and possibilities. Reflection moments became part of their routine, sharing thoughts on where they stood and feelings about the growing connection. Jessica felt grateful for the openness, cherishing the growing trust between them. With each authentic interaction, she realized she was no longer searching for love as a means to feel complete. She was wholly herself, ready to expand her heart while remaining grounded in who she was. Dating no longer felt like a journey to fulfill an empty space but rather an adventure to connect with someone who was equally eager to grow alongside her. As she sat in her favorite cafe one sunny afternoon, reflecting on how far she had come, Jessica felt peace wrap around her. She regarded the future with optimism, knowing that each step she took could lead her to more meaningful connections. No matter the outcome, she was ready to embrace what lay ahead, aware that love would come when it was right. With heart full of hope and self-worth, Jessica emerged into this new chapter of her life ready to love and be loved in return.